Good morning, YouTubers. Apologies that it's been so long since I've posted a video. I'm not particularly good at doing these kind of things, so I'm only going to really post when anything sort of dramatic happens or when I change anything really. So system is running really well. We're back into the summer again. There's Toby, my son. Hello. And the Leaf, which I'm very pleased with. Got it from August last year and nothing's gone wrong with it at all. Very, very pleased with it. It's lost its first bar, but I'm going to hang around for a while until I upgrade, till I get the Tesla 3s and the rest of the cars up with larger packs. So, what's happened then? Okay, well, what's happened is I have mounted the inverter on the wall. I put the temperature sensor fan, which I can't remember whether I had it on there before, is there. But the big thing that's happened is the change in the battery bank. So now I bought this second hand for about 800 quid, I think, for a contact off eBay. I fitted one of these battery extra modules, which basically pulses high frequency electrode pulses through the battery. The idea is to try and break down any sulfation on the plates that does occur. How much effect it's had, because I don't know the exact age of all of these cells. I had to take a couple out there and put a couple more new ones in. They're around about 800 amp hours in terms of the bank, which is the 24 volt bank. And I've just got a load of more rewiring to do since I mounted the inverter on the wall. I think the big thing is because the batteries are slightly lower than the top here. This is a huge, thick, dense metal casing, so getting the cables in there is probably going to have to drill through the metal there and feed them in, probably from the back here. Is probably what I'm going to do with the thicker cables going to the inverter. I put the isolator and the main fuse for the inverter underneath there, and then I'm going to mount these other circuit breakers probably on the top there or just underneath the bottom. That's the comms port cable coming from, it goes inside the house. Where does it go in? There. And I can then control and turn the inverter on and off from there as well. And also I've got some cables going in there with a small LED display, so I can see what the battery voltage is doing. So yeah, it's running the freezers and the fridge freezer, the microwave or radios, all of the AV equipment, projectors, all the lighting in the house, both up and down. So the only thing it's not doing really is the oven and microwave and toaster, although in the summer I'd probably be able to put the and the kettle. Yeah, so I'd probably be able to put that on down the line. So I'm just gradually putting more and more of the house on it, just to see what the loads are. Summer is fine, it's just literally those winter months again where you're just having to take the washing machine off. Oh yeah, the washing machine's on there as well. But things like the washing machine and one of the fridge freezers, as the temperature in the house alters as well. So yeah, I think I'm probably just going to need another 1000-watt array on the top of the house really, just to get a bit more sun. But yeah, been toying with the idea of a small little wind generator down the side of the house because it does get very windy down there. But apart from that, yeah, I would probably say going to a lot larger battery bank is the key there to store all that energy in. And yeah, it probably goes overnight easy enough, running all the house still. But it's yeah, I guess what could I say? I think probably having two banks would be a lot better if you could afford them. The one great thing, of course, obviously with the battery bank of this size is that if one of these cells, 2-volt cells, goes down, or even a few of them, you can just take them out and replace them. That's a great thing. Whereas the other cells, like the 12-volt cells, you've got one short and you've got to throw the whole battery away. So that's the great thing, is that you can replace from here. I used a little I'll show you what it is that I used to clean all the terminals up with. It's kind of like a little brush like that. You can see it's quite worn now, but it done the job of cleaning up all the terminals down here. And what I've done is I've used copper grease before I've gone and put the nuts in and tightened them up. I've also put copper grease on the top there, and that's stopping the any sort of corrosion. I've used a copper plate to go on the last two terminals there where I actually connect everything. Yeah, it's a lot easier to get the copper grease and get these bolts out as and when you want to. There's one there I couldn't actually get off, so I will do it down the line when I need to change that one. But yeah, I cleaned up all the terminals first of all with the drill part that I showed you, and just really gave them all a good clean, and also all of the connectors inside and out as well, and literally did all of those because they were all second hand. So it took me, you know, a good 2 hours to clean everything up, but it's well worth it in terms of getting that decent connection, and just keeping on top of that service. I guess the only other thing is refilling them, equalising the battery bank once a month, charging it up to about 31 volts, and keeping all your distilled water. If you run a dehumidifier, or you know anyone that has a lot of water there, run a dehumidifier and just collect that water. Use it in your irons as well so they don't get furred up. It's a good idea. And then I just put it into a little 5 litre canister down there and use that as my top-up fluid, which is all good. Anyway, that is it for the moment. That's the latest update, and as things progress on, we shall do another one. But yeah, system working fine. Winter is a problem. Looking at possibly getting an LPG generator down the line for those winter months. But I'm on the grid still, so as I said, it pulls in from the grid, the end of the inverter. So that's connected to the grid via this plug here. The grid goes into the inverter. So if the battery bank does get to a certain level, it's programmed to then come out of DC and then bring the battery bank back up. Okie dokie. I'll see you soon. Cheers.